guys, I am in my bathroom right now, so if it's a little echoey, then I'm sorry, but this generally was the place with the most natural light. I don't want to use my ring lights, artificial lights, to basically show you the foundation review, or kind of like, yeah, trying on the foundation for you guys. So I just got home from work. I'm a bit of an alien right now. I have some Olaplex in my hair, and my hair's quite tight, like it's giving me a little facelift, which I don't mind. Anyway, I have just moisturized, so I've used my Oil of Olay foundation, Oil of Olay moisturizer all over the place. So now, bit of a boo-boo on my part. I don't have the actual Serum foundation shade that I actually have been using. I have it in the full coverage, the Ordinary's full coverage foundation, or higher coverage foundation, which is the coverage foundation, and it's in the shade 2.1Y. But yeah, so I have that in the two colors. I bought basically 2.1Y and 3.0Y in the coverage foundation, and I did the same in the Serum foundation, which is one I want to show you guys today. But the only one I can find is my 3.0Y. I think I've just, like, in the middle of moving, I think it's just fallen into the wrong box. So hopefully when I unpack the rest of my room, I'll be able to find it. Anyway, we're gonna just go with this foundation shade, which is 3.0Y. I already know it's about 2 shades warmer than my skin tone, but I just want to show you this foundation. So this foundation, I mentioned it today on my Instagram. By the way, I'm just gonna get on with it. I mentioned it today on my Instagram. So this foundation, this is the foundation, this is what it looks like. First of all, it comes with a pump, which is, in this day and age, I feel like every foundation should come with a pump. It's the most hygienic, efficient way to use a liquid foundation, so I don't understand why companies make foundations without a pump. Anyway, I'm just gonna squeeze one pump into my hands. I use this like a tinted moisturizer. So right now, it looks a little scary, but bear with me. So this is about 2 shades warmer than my skin tone. As you can see, compared to my neck. So if you are an NC 40, then I would say grab yourself the 2.1Y, which I really wish I had right now. But I find, like, when I push it down my neck and when I put my concealer, which is always like brighter, I find that the foundation, like, I can get away with it. I wore this in my new makeup video that I last put up, and it was okay. What one pump of the foundation looks like. I have like some blemishes here and here. It covers it ever so slightly, but this foundation, you do need a concealer with this foundation. This foundation for me is very comparable to wearing a tinted moisturizer, like the NARS tinted moisturizer, but it also reminds me a lot of the Chanel Vita Lumiere, which is like one of my all-time favorite foundations. It's just expensive, I feel, so I never really bother to kind of keep repurchasing it. But yeah, that's what this reminds me of. It's very liquidy, and I feel like that's just what my dry, dehydrated skin needs. Also, I find that it doesn't sit in any lines. It's quite dewy, or like skin-like. It gives like a skin-like finish, like a healthy, good skin finish, and that's what I love about this foundation. In terms of coverage, I would say light to medium. I feel like if I was to use a sponge, I would probably get more of a coverage from it. I'm just gonna whack some concealer on. I'm using the Smashbox concealer. Yeah, so I feel like I can get a better coverage from it depending on what tools I'm using. So that's something to bear in mind. I've heard people say that they find that this oxidizes on them. I would say I've not noticed that on my skin. Then again, I don't have a lot of natural oils that kind of poke through my skin, during the day. But yeah, this particular foundation, I believe there's about 20 foundation shades or even more, but they come in, the handy thing is that they come in 3 different undertones: pink, yellow and neutral, which for a brand that is selling foundation for £6 to have like a neutral shade, because we don't all fit into one family like yellow or pink, to have like a neutral shade is really, really handy. I always put a little concealer on my chin and a little on my forehead if the actual foundation I'm using is not the best colour match. That's how I kind of like get away with it. So this is with concealer on as well. I've not done any spot concealing. The thing I would say about this foundation, even though it's a good one for kind of dry skin, it's quite hydrating, I feel, you still need to make sure prepping your skin, because it doesn't matter what foundation you're using. I feel like if you don't prep your skin beforehand and you have dry skin like me or flaky skin, anything that you put on top is going to really be accentuated and it's going to basically cling. So that's with some powder under the eye area. That's what it looks like. This foundation I think retails just under £6. I think it's £5.80 something. They did have a big hoo-ha about availability because everyone went crazy for the 2 foundations that they do. I will review the Coverage foundation. That one is not my favorite. Didn't love it as much as I love the Serum foundation, but that again could be to do with like, that's my preference. I prefer like skin-like foundation. I prefer that you can still see bits of my skin. I think this foundation is great if you're just looking to even out your skin tone slightly, and just for every day I think it's perfect. I'm gonna just go ahead and do the rest of my face like I normally would, just so you guys can but I wore this foundation every single day when I was in Venice. I say that like I was there a year. I was there like 2 days, but I wore this foundation every single day and I absolutely loved it. It's like the perfect holiday foundation. Also, I rediscovered this blush palette that I didn't even know I had. It's from Makeup Revolution and it's called the Hot Spice palette. Honestly, this foundation makes me wonder why I ever pay more than £6 for a natural looking foundation. I can understand with foundations that are more full coverage, they're a lot less forgiving, so I always maybe go for a little bit more quality in that sense. But honestly, you could stick this in any other high-end brand. I would not know the difference. I think it's a beautiful foundation. Hey guys, my camera died. I obviously thought I was done talking, but I wasn't. So it's probably been about half an hour since I put this foundation on, and I think hopefully you guys will agree that it settles in nicely. Like I always think foundations, I always like to give foundations a good hour to kind of like set nicely into the skin, and sometimes the color kind of adjusts. And yeah, so this is what it still looks like. It is 10 to 6 in the evening, so this is natural daylight, so that's how I wanted you guys to be able to see this foundation. A few things that I forgot that I wanted to mention is they also do a primer which I did order. It's called the High Spreadability Fluid Primer, but I actually did order that and they actually sent me Argiline solution instead in the primer packaging, and I tweeted them and I said like, what's going on, and they asked me to send a picture of the packaging, but then I thrown it away and I just thought, oh, I just can't be bothered. I'm so lazy. But yeah, like I said, I've heard that people have some problems with the wear of this foundation and that it doesn't last. I think I can't really say that because I have, like I keep mentioning, only because I just want to always recommend the best thing for that specific skin type. I have dry, dull, dehydrated, flaky, dry skin. Yeah, it takes a lot of care to get my skin to feel and look like good skin. So yeah, so I can't really say in terms of wear. When I wear a product, it sticks to my face and it doesn't really disappear too much. It doesn't really fade, it doesn't really kind of separate or anything. So, and I've not found this with this foundation at all. Obviously, I am wearing a heavier concealer under the eye area. I would rarely ever just pop on a foundation and go. Normally, I always, doesn't matter what foundation it is, even if it's a tinted moisturizer, I will always pop on a concealer under my under eye area. But yeah, you may need to, I think there was one in Covent Garden, but I think you may want to get, I don't know if they do samples of this foundation. Took a guess online. It's very easy when I see yellow undertone. I normally go for yellow undertone, even though sometimes my skin can look a little like neither here nor there. I mean, it's definitely not pink, but sometimes it doesn't look kind of like it has a yellow undertone. So sometimes I can get away with neutral foundations. But yeah, I would say that 3.0Y is like I would say like an NC 44, between 42 and 44. I will try and put a natural as I can picture. I might just take it, let's just do it now with my iPhone just so you guys can see how it photographs, and then I'll pop this in. Oh my god, I want to get my bathtub in. Affordable, the packaging is just simple, it's brilliant for traveling with. It's a brilliant one to put in your hand luggage. So hopefully this review was helpful, and I will put the link to the Ordinary website where I actually purchased it directly from the Serum, I think, which is like I think it's like the mothership, like the what do you call it? It's the parent company, is that what they call it? I don't know. I basically purchased it online. I really like this foundation, and honestly, like I said, it makes me wonder why we pay the prices we do. I do want to try the Fenty foundation. I'm not a big fan of full coverage foundations, especially matte full coverage foundations, the older I'm getting. But I feel like I need to try it. I feel like it would be just, I feel like it's been like the biggest launch of 2017, and well, apart from the Ordinary, and I feel like I would just be missing out. I just feel like I'd get serious FOMO if I didn't try that foundation. So yeah, if you have bought the Fenty foundation, let me know what shade you've picked up. I'm debating between 300 and 310. One is, I think, neutral, one is yellow undertone. But yeah, obviously they're a lot more pricey than the foundation that I've just reviewed. But anyway, I'm gonna go. I'll speak to you guys soon. Bye.